Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review, and today we are returning to the Brasserie Burgonde in Auchois, or in Vito I should say. We are trying actually the beer that is pictured on their glass. We have been tasting all the bière de Vito or the Brasserie Burgonde beers from this glass saying Cervoisétorix. Yeah, a very Latin sounding name, or for the people that saw Asterix movies. But this is in fact that beer, the Cervoisétorix. Why is this so special? Why am I so enthusiastic? Because I am looking forward for this beer for a while. This is a bière de gruit, a gruit bier, which is not a hop beer but a herb beer, a plant beer. This is back to, let's say, the 15th century, before we used a lot of hops. They already had hops, but they didn't really use it in the way they do now. They didn't know about the bacteriostatic characteristics of these hops. And that does translate into this beer, because when we look at the ingredients, we see bière vivante non pasteurisée de fermentation haute brassée traditionnellement et réfermentée en bouteille. So living beer, unpasteurized, top fermented, traditionally brewed and re-fermented in the bottle. Ingrédients: eau, malt d'orge, orge, seigle, sucre, houblon, plante, fleurs, épices et levure. So ingredients: water, malted barley, regular barley, rye, I believe, sugar, hops, and then plants, flowers, herbs and spices, and yeast. And they actually tell us what they used, because as hops they used a brambling cross, one I have never used before. Sorry, a brambling cross that is. And fermo ale yeast. I'm very intrigued, I'm very curious. So without further ado, I want to check this out. Oh, I expected this to be a bit more of a gusher, so that is good news already. It always strikes me as odd when a brewery brews exclusively 33 centiliter bottles and only has 25 centiliter glasses. But that is a rant for another time. Plain green bottle cap. Okay, color-wise, yeah, a-okay. A nice gold, maybe a bit to the orange side, but very, very gold. Nice creamy white foam, tiny bubbles, pretty much everything that we desire in a decent beer. So over to the aroma. And this is where it gets weird. In a good way, weird in a good way, because this is so complex in recipe and in ingredients. This is also very complex when it comes to aroma and flavor. I get some floral notes, I get some herbs, I get, for example, some rosemary or some thyme, but also I get some roasty, smoky scents. Now I know for a fact that they didn't use smoked malts or even toasted malts, well, slightly toasted maybe. So that is all in the brewing, not in the malt this time. I get a bit of tree bark, I get a tiny bit of licorice, which I didn't expect in a beer like this. Yeah. very spicy as well. Like, I know it's not in there, but in this, or in the scent, in the aroma, I'm getting like some dried paprika or some cayenne pepper. Very, very odd. And that explains the smoked idea in the nose. So, yeah, let's have a taste. I'm very curious. Yeah, the flavor is even more intense and complex than the aroma. It is a bit woody. I still get a bit of that tree bark. I do get a lot of floral notes. And that is a very pleasant combination with the carbonation in this beer. Also, I get a lot of still that dried paprika or pepper, not spicy in the sense of hot, but spicy in the sense of those dried peppers are quite present. Also some very, very pleasant bitterness. I really like that. Again, more tree bark. That goes hand in hand with that licorice as well. But I also get yeah, herbs, dried herbs, maybe some sage. Yeah, very complex, very interesting. This takes us back to Gaelic times, for example, and since this is in the Burgundy region, yeah, I wasn't far off with my Asterix reference. The Burgundy region is about a 6-hour drive from here, and I say Gaelic, but I mean the Gauls, of course. That region sure as hell saw some Roman activity. A lot of history there, but also in terms of beer, from the 12th to, let's say, the 15th, 16th century, they mostly brewed this again because they didn't know about hops, that slowly evolved into brewing. But if we look at this label, we have these laurels and some, yeah, I want to say Gaelic or Celtic ornaments here. Very busy, but also very nice. And what appears to be a Roman tafferel, an old fresco of kinds, an old painting. Made it a bit more hazy because there was some yeast residue in the bottle. It is re-fermented in the bottle after all. So what am I expecting? Making this a bit more mellow, a bit more creamy. Exactly that. Very nice. Also, it's always interesting. I think Gruit, brewery in Ghent, led by Annick de Splinter, brews exclusively with gruit instead of hops and do a beautiful job. So again, a nice exercise for your taste palette. As much as I am a fan of beers like this, historically speaking, scientifically speaking, and just in general as a beer geek, I love this. As a beer lover and a drinker, not so much. Well, not so much, a bit less, I would say. Why? Because we are not accustomed to this flavor anymore. I like it, but it is a very, very cool gimmick and a very nice history lesson. I would probably order one of these in a bar. I would probably not order a second. So how should I score this? I think I'm gonna give this a 3.25, as in a very nice gimmick, an A for effort, fantastic idea, well executed, quality beer. And even though it's very powerful in flavor, it is also balanced. Very pleasant aftertaste as well. But it is just that. Very interesting. I would love to have this on a tasting, for example, but on a regular night out, yeah, probably not so much. So yeah, 3.25 is spot on, I think. Okay, that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with this channel for all this time. I would love to see you guys again in the next video. If you don't want to miss that, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you will get notified whenever I upload something, which should be every Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. If you want to see more, I have a bunch of playlists sorted out by brewery, by location, and by beer style, so there's something for everyone. And if you want to support this channel, share a video, check out the Patreon page, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.